renting it, instead of letting them rent the land, I said, I'm going to pay you a salary and you're going to work the land. I'm going to give you a profit sharing, but you're not going to own it.
Right.
And so I immediately switched their economic situations. And then I hired two general managers that have farming degrees from, one was actually from A&M and another one from the University of Minnesota. And they actually all of them live on the land all the time. And then those two general managers go around and they make sure that we're checking different things. Just like you have a CFA on your team, I have a soil scientist. I have a meteorologist. I have a lot of different people on my team so that we can actually figure out when to plant, what to plant, when to yield, all those different things, and really have some really detailed stuff. So I'm in a meeting every morning from 9 to 10 Central Time where that is what we talk about.
So what's the main crops in where you're at? I mean, because we're in Lubbock, so if you don't know, Lubbock, Texas, right? So it's cotton, sorghum, a little bit of grains, right? But it's mainly cotton. Everybody knows we're one of the biggest 13 counties around Lubbock, generates a large, massive amount of the cotton in the world. But there, I wouldn't think it's...
No, it's wheat, hay, corn, radishes, sweet potatoes, and beets.
Really?
Yeah, and lettuce.
So you are getting into some of the perishables, like the consumables. And is this food corn or is this?
So we do both.
You do both.
We do. Soybeans are also a big thing, but soybeans take a lot out of the soil. Yeah. So I've chosen not to do soybeans, but we do food corn and we do grain, or what they call feed corn or grain corn.
Yeah.
So we have our own silos. We have our own processing plants. So I've actually really, like I said, I took that business plan and I really developed exactly what we're going to do. One thing I'm proud of, and I know some people in Texas might get mad at me for this, but we are 100% sustainable. So we are on our own water grid. We are on our own power grid. We have wind turbines, solar. We have, not every tractor and not every farm equipment is electric because they just don't make them. But,
yeah, right.
But so
you're as close as you can get to.
We are as close as we can get to. We also have some hydroponics so that we can grow radishes and other stuff that we can't normally grow on the soil. We have it in warehouses that are kind of greenhouses. They're 6 stories high, and it's all hydroponic. Very little.
And this is a great point to make right here. This is where I think the crop inputs right now to produce any crop today is just astronomical. I was talking to a good friend of mine, Jeff Miller. We were talking about, I don't know how the next generation is going to grow food. It is something that is and I'm just a planter with, here in West Texas that I deal with, a couple of dozen farmers, right? Now we're in West Texas, so,
it's more of a way of life.
It's a way of life, but they're pretty good sized farms here, right? It's not like you're in the Iowa states and it's 300-400 acres. It's 5, 10, 20, 30,000 acres is what some of these farmers are running. Everybody thinks that's crazy if you're hearing that from a national, but it's really not, right? It's very flat land out here, and they've been doing it for 100 years, right?
Correct.
And so it's nothing abnormal here, but when you get further north, and that's when you told me kind of where you were at, I was like, that's insane. So of that acreage, I got to ask this, how much is continuous?
I'd say about 65% of it.
Really?
Yeah.
That is crazy. You got minerals on that too?
I do.
That is nuts all the way around. We're going to have this. You're going to have to come back for another podcast because a good buddy of ours is also on the mineral side that's coming on, and he's talking specifically on the different types because nobody understands how minerals work.
Right.
It is absolutely, he has to tell me 3 different ways on what net mineral acre is compared to a royalty acre compared to, it gets crazy.
It's very confusing.
It is very confusing on there, but a great deal. Come back from that. So you're doing all of it, right? So you got the royalties, right? You got the surface. And so now you're doing solar. There's nothing you're not doing on this thing. So how many people are employed on that?
433 right now.
That is crazy. So you got 433 people.
Yeah. And we're looking at, do we add more? Do we contract a little bit, get a little bit more responsibility? Because again, like I was just talking about, the commodity prices.
The crop inputs are too expensive. How are you going to make a profit at all?
Correct. So because we actually were so sustainable last year, diesel wasn't as much of an issue. Now you still have to power tractors.
Yeah.
Some of the tractors are hybrid. We've got them some, but they still use diesel. Now we actually do our own shipping. Last year we bought 10 electric semis to do our own shipping, mostly for. We sell acidophilus milk, so basically it's the raw milk. You just put it in a bottle and send it, but you can only send it for 4 to 6 hours. So our trucks are all electric. If they were diesel, we would not have made a profit on that. So I'm with you about your friend of how are the next generation going to farm, because it's become a really big business. And luckily, I've been able to counter the big agricultural businesses.